Ben Simmons is a superstar in the making, the second coming of LeBron James.
This is Ben Simmons 5 years ago. And after calling him the next LeBron James, here's what Stephen A. is saying about him right now.
Nobody is worse than Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons might also be the weakest, most pathetic excuse for a professional athlete we have ever seen in not just American history, but the history of sports. I can't think of a professional athlete that has come across more pathetic than this man.
Man, it must have been tough being Ben Simmons. I mean, in just 4 years, he went from being Rookie of the Year and a 3-time All-Star to a certified scrub who got a phobia of shooting the ball. As Stephen A. and most people said back then, this dude was going to be the second coming of LeBron James, and looking back, they weren't actually wrong. Though he sat out in his rookie year due to a foot injury, Simmons proved that he was a different kind of unicorn that would revolutionize the point guard position when he first set foot on the court a year later. Around that time, no other 6'10" guy had the same level of vision and athleticism as he did, and the way he played defense was simply phenomenal. He was so good that he was pitted against Donovan Mitchell for the Rookie of the Year award. And even though lots of people were rooting against him, since he wasn't really considered a rookie in his second year, here's what he said when he was asked on who he thinks should win the award.
Who's the Rookie of the Year this year?
Who would I pick?
Who would you pick?
Me, for sure.
You pick you?
100%.
Why so over the competition?
I think I've just been playing, solid all year. If you look at the numbers, you'll see.
His confidence didn't backfire as he really won the award by averaging 15.8 points, 8.1 rebounds, 8.2 assists, and 1.7 steals in the regular season. In the first round of the playoffs, he actually played better than Embiid by averaging almost a triple-double in the series against the Heat, along with 2.4 steals in 5 outings. And although they got bounced off by the Celtics in the next round, Simmons still played really well throughout the series, and at this point, the word superstar was just written all over him. In the 2018-19 season, Simmons continued to rack up solid numbers by averaging almost 17 points a ball game while grabbing 8.8 boards and dishing out 7.7 assists to earn his first ever All-Star selection. However, when you take a closer look at his shooting numbers, you would now start to see little red flags in his game with his poor percentage from the mid-range and beyond. Plus, he was just shooting 60% from the free throw line too, so that's not a good sign. Though this wasn't a big issue during their series against the Nets in their first round, the Raptors used this weakness of his to expose him in their semifinal matchup. You would see that the Raptors are basically daring him to take a shot with the way they're sagging on him, and even though he got an open lane to shoot, he would often pass the ball out cause I think he's afraid that he'd get fouled. And with that said, Simmons would just throw the ball or take an awkward shot cause he really doesn't want to shoot free throws. For the second year in a row, the 76ers would be booted out of the playoffs in the second round, this time thanks to Kawhi's crazy buzzer beater, and during the exit interview, one reporter threw a question at Simmons and said,
Ben, you said you wanted to take your game forward. How much do you think taking more jump shots or even taking shots from the perimeter is important to improving your game?
It's important. It's very important.
How are you going to work on it?
Repetition.
Okay, has that happened this year? And it doesn't. You took 5 shots last night. Do you think in this situation with this team and who you are, you need more than 5 shots, and some of them have to be from the perimeter?
Yeah.
Based on his facial reaction and one-line answers, Simmons was clearly bothered by the questions being thrown at him. And I think this is the part where his inability to shoot would slowly start to get into his head. Anyways, coming out with 2 injuries during the COVID season, Simmons wasn't as good compared to previous years as he averaged career lows in points, rebounds, and assists amidst the 2020-21 season. He bounced back though in their series against the Wizards in the first round, where he almost averaged a triple-double in 5 games. But in the next round versus the Hawks, Simmons would be put in a bad situation that would jeopardize his 76ers career. In the crucial Game 7, Simmons had the opportunity to tie the game with less than 4 minutes left on the clock. However, here's what happened. The 76ers eventually lost that series, and because of that one single play, almost everyone put the blame on Simmons. I mean, Embiid threw him under the bus.
But I thought the turning point was just, we had an open shot, and we made one free throw, and we missed the other, and then they came down and scored, and we didn't get a good possession on the other end, and Trey came back and he made a 3, and then from there.
And Doc had also lost faith in him.
Doc, do you think Ben Simmons can still be a point guard for a championship team like the one you guys want to become?
Yeah, David, I don't know that question or the answer to that right now. So I don't know the answer to that.
If there's a turning point in his career, there's no doubt that it has to be this one, because after this, things just went on a downward spiral for Simmons. In the following season, Simmons asked to be traded and refused to play until he got what he wanted. Then, when the 76ers started to give out fines, Simmons said he had been dealing with mental health issues, and that's why he can't really play. Eventually, Simmons got traded to the Nets for James Harden, and I'm sure that while he thought that he could finally rebuild his career by starting fresh with a new team, things actually got even worse for him in Brooklyn. After the Big Three broke up, Simmons was just lost in the shuffle and continued to be a liability on the offensive end. I mean, just check out how teams like the Bucks are exposing him shamelessly. And in some instances, teams actually don't care anymore if Simmons attacks because they're confident that he's going to botch it anyway. Across 42 games this season, Simmons is only averaging 7 points a ball game while attempting 5 shots, and to top this all off, he's also shooting a horrendous 43.9% from the foul line. I mean, this is just unacceptable, especially for a guy that's owed $35 million this year. If he can't fix his issues both on and off of the court, or show a little bit of improvement at least, I'm afraid that this might be the end of the road for Ben Simmons. Even though he can play defense, teams still wouldn't want him around, cause it'll be like playing with a crippled offense since he can't shoot whether it's a layup or as simple as a free throw. Simply put, Simmons had quite a lot of chances to improve his outside game over the years, but for some reason, he failed to adapt, or maybe refused to adapt, I don't know. But one thing's for sure, whatever the case, this will definitely cost him his job.